Lord, our Heavenly Father, in the quiet hush before dawn, when the world is still draped in indigo and the stars begin to fade, we turn our hearts to you. It is in these nascent moments, before the clamor of the day asserts its claim, that we feel a profound yearning, a deep-seated ache for something more, something eternal, something that transcends the fleeting and the superficial. We come before you, not with grand pronouncements or eloquent sermons, but with the raw, honest whisper of souls, seeking your presence as the very first act of our day. We acknowledge the chaotic urgency that defines so much of our modern existence, the relentless pace that often leaves us breathless and disoriented. The world shouts its demands, its deadlines, its distractions, pulling us in 1,000 different directions before the sun has even fully risen. Our minds race, already burdened by yesterday's unfinished tasks and tomorrow's looming anxieties. It is so easy to be swept away by this tide of busyness, to allow the noise to drown out the still, small voice of your spirit. But today we choose a different path. We choose to step out of the storm and into the sanctuary of your presence. We seek that sacred space, that quiet stillness, where our souls can awaken to your divine light, just as the first tentative sunbeams begin to pierce through the blinds, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. We envision ourselves turning the pages of your word, not with the hurried obligation of a daily chore, but with the eager anticipation of a lover seeking communion with their beloved. This is not about adding another item to an overflowing to-do list. It is about anchoring ourselves in the divine, about finding the source of true peace and purpose before we even take our first step into the world. We recognize that this journey from overwhelm to clarity, from isolation to profound connection, is not always a smooth or easy one. The enemy, the adversary of our souls, delights in sowing seeds of doubt, fear, and distraction, attempting to keep us from experiencing the fullness of your presence. He whispers lies in the quiet moments, telling us we are not worthy, that our prayers are insignificant, that our struggles are too great. He seeks to isolate us, to make us believe we are alone in our battles. But we know, Lord, that this is a deception. We know that in you, we are never alone. We are called to rise above the din, to actively pursue your peace, to declare your sovereignty over our lives from the very outset of each new day. This prayer is an invitation to that pursuit, a call to awaken our spirits to the glorious reality of your unwavering love and protection. It is about reclaiming the morning, not as a battleground for our own strength, but as a sacred altar where we lay down our burdens and lift up our voices in praise and supplication. We are preparing to journey from the internal struggle of distractions to the triumphant embrace of peace found in prayer. And we ask that you guide us every step of the way, revealing your truth and your power in ways that will resonate deep within our beings. We are ready to witness the subtle shift, the profound transformation that occurs when we intentionally seek you first. We stand on the precipice of your word, Lord, and in its sacred pages we find the bedrock of your unwavering commitment to defend and uplift us. The psalmist declares, "The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield, and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." Psalm 18:2. This is not mere poetry. It is a divine promise, a testament to your active protective engagement in our lives. Consider the profound truth embedded in these ancient words. When you are our refuge, when we anchor our hope in you, no enemy, no adversity, no darkness can ultimately prevail against us. This is the foundational understanding that empowers our morning devotion. It's not about wishing away challenges. It's about recognizing that with your intervention, our spiritual strength is exponentially amplified. Think of a tiny seed, seemingly vulnerable, yet containing within it the blueprint for a mighty tree, capable of weathering storms. So too within us, when we are connected to you, the divine power that sustains the universe resides, equipping us to stand firm. This scriptural foundation assures us that our struggles, however daunting they may appear, are not insurmountable when viewed through the lens of your omnipotence. The very nature of your being is to protect, to deliver, to be our stronghold. Therefore, as we begin our day, we are not stepping out in fragile human confidence, but in the unshakable assurance of your divine backing. This truth transforms our perspective from one of passive endurance to one of active, faith-filled engagement. It means that every fear whispered in the night, every doubt that attempts to creep into our minds, is met with the superior power of your presence. The enemy may roar, he may scheme, he may seek to intimidate, but his power is limited by his separation from you, the source of all power. When we are united with you, we inherit that power. This is why early morning prayer is so crucial. It is the moment we consciously align ourselves with the ultimate victor, ensuring that the battles of the day are fought from a position of divine advantage. We are not merely surviving, we are thriving, empowered by the knowledge that the one who created the heavens and the earth is on our side, shielding us with his might and uplifting us with his grace. This understanding eradicates the notion of helplessness. It replaces it with the potent reality that, through faith and prayer, we are equipped to face anything that comes our way. The battle is not ours alone, it is the Lord's, and he guarantees victory for those who trust in him. This is the bedrock upon which our daily walk is built, the unwavering promise that empowers us to face the day with courage and conviction, knowing that in you we are more than conquerors. Reflecting on this journey so far, we can perceive a profound convergence of spiritual realities, a weaving together of divine promises and human experience that begins to illuminate the path ahead. The initial recognition of our deep-seated yearning, a primal call for connection that echoes in the stillness of dawn, has now been met with the unshakable assurance of divine presence and protection. It's as if the subtle whispers of need have been answered by a resounding declaration of unwavering faithfulness, a testament to a love that precedes and encompasses all of our struggles. The very fabric of our being, so often buffeted by external storms and internal doubts, is finding its anchor in something far more substantial, something that transcends the ephemeral nature of worldly anxieties. This is not merely an intellectual understanding, but a visceral realignment, a subtle yet powerful shift in our spiritual gravity. As we move towards the culmination of this exploration, the implications of this dawning realization begin to resonate with increasing clarity. The vulnerability we acknowledge in the quiet hours is not a weakness to be hidden, but an open door, an invitation for the divine light to flood in and transform. The challenges we face, whether they manifest as external pressures or the subtle, insidious whispers of discouragement, are being reframed. They are no longer insurmountable obstacles, but rather opportunities to witness the unfolding of a greater power, a power that operates not in the grand pronouncements of man, but in the quiet, persistent grace of God. This growing awareness is akin to a landscape slowly revealing itself as the mist recedes. Familiar contours take on new significance, and the vastness of the terrain becomes apparent, not as a source of intimidation, but as a testament to boundless possibility. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, not necessarily simpler, but imbued with a profound sense of direction. The initial act of seeking, of turning our hearts towards the divine before the world's demands take hold, is revealed as more than just a ritual. It is the foundational stone upon which a life of purpose and peace is built. It is the conscious decision to allow the divine narrative to supersede our own fragmented stories, to let the eternal rhythm guide our temporal steps. This deliberate alignment, this intentional turning towards the source, creates a subtle yet undeniable momentum, a spiritual buoyancy that lifts us above the currents of everyday chaos. We are being equipped not with a shield to deflect every blow, but with an inner compass that guides us through the tempest, ensuring we remain steadfast and true. The profound connection we seek is not a distant aspiration, but a present reality waiting to be fully embraced. The true practice begins now, not as a destination reached, but as a way of being that unfolds moment by moment, breath by breath. What we have explored is not a fleeting inspiration, but a foundational truth that reorients our entire existence. The quiet hush before dawn, the indigo sky, the yearning soul, these are not mere poetic devices, but profound invitations. They speak to a universal longing, a deep-seated awareness that our true sustenance comes not from the frantic pace of the world, but from a conscious communion with the divine. We have journeyed from acknowledging the overwhelming noise of modern life to understanding that within that very noise lies the potential for a profound stillness, a sacred space that is always accessible. This access is granted not through striving or achieving, but through the simple yet transformative act of turning our hearts towards the light, even before the world demands our attention. This intentional turning is the essence of anchoring our lives in divine communion. It is the deliberate choice to greet the day not with the weight of our own anxieties, but with the unshakable assurance of God's presence. The scriptural promises we've touched upon are not abstract theological concepts. They are living, breathing assurances that empower us to face every circumstance. When we recognize that God is our fortress, our shield, our deliverer, the adversarial forces that seek to undermine us lose their ultimate power. This is not a passive hope, but an active declaration of truth that reshapes our perception of reality. The battles we face, both internal and external, are not fought from a position of weakness, but from the vantage point of divine victory. This perspective shift is crucial. It transforms fear into faith, doubt into determination, and isolation into an intimate, unassailable connection. The vivid imagery we've employed, sunbeams piercing through blinds, the rustle of turning pages, the vastness of natural landscapes, serves to illustrate this profound internal shift. These are not just external phenomena, but reflections of the inner transformation that occurs when we prioritize our spiritual connection. The subtle shift from overwhelm to clarity, from isolation to profound connection, is a testament to the power of intentionally seeking God's presence. This is the promise of a life anchored in divine communion, a life where purpose is not manufactured, but discovered, where peace is not a fleeting emotion, but a deep-seated reality, and where strength is not a finite resource, but an ever-replenishing wellspring drawn from the divine. The morning devotion, therefore, is not merely a religious practice. It is the cultivation of a spiritual posture that permeates every aspect of our lives, infusing our days with grace, resilience, and an enduring sense of hope. The true practice begins now in embracing this truth, in living from this place of divine connection, allowing it to guide our steps and illuminate our path forward.